I was a frequent user of Snapchat last year, and the story takes place in the summer of 2015, when I was 14 years old, I would frequently Snapchat this friend of mine. We were on each other's lists of best friends, so for this story, I'll call him Ben. One evening, he hadn't texted me in a while, so I sent him a funny picture, but he didn't open it for a while, so I sent him another funny photo of myself. Coincidentally, I was in the app when he opened them, and this time he didn't reply at all. Instead, I texted him, asking, "What's up?" I got a red receipt within the minute. No response, though I didn't know what was up with him or if I did something to piss him off, but I wasn't going to beg him to respond to me, so I put my phone down and focused on something else. Eventually I started having a conversation with one of my other friends through text, and somehow Ben's name came up and the fact that he had lost his phone. I made sure my friend was absolutely certain that Ben was still missing his phone, and he said yes. I called Ben's house phone number. His dad picked up. I asked to speak with Ben, and Ben himself confirmed he was missing his phone. I told him somebody had his phone because they were opening his Snapchats and reading texts. He freaked out and told me to come over, but I really didn't want to. I told him I'd messaged them asking to return the phone. I sent a bunch of texts to the person. It said read for every single one of them, but I didn't get a text back. Instead, I eventually received a Snapchat from Ben's phone. I opened it and it was a picture of a really weird-looking guy with a huge smile on his face, and the caption was "coming over." I called Ben once again to make sure he didn't have either of our addresses on his phone. I was on the phone with Ben when the guy texted me, "You're good-looking," to my dismay that he had both of our addresses on his phone. Ben couldn't even attempt to trace this crook because he didn't have Track My iPhone enabled. That night I woke up at some ungodly hour, I'd say 3 a.m. I wasn't sure if something had woken me up or not, but I was somewhat positive that I thought I saw some kind of light. Just as I woke up I sat up and rubbed my eyes and realized it was really hot in the room, which was weird considering we had the AC on. As I turned to my window, an unexpected white flash of light filled the room and I felt a sharp pain in my eyes which had become adjusted to the dark. I struggled to reopen my eyes, but when I could I saw that my window had been opened and someone was leaning half their body into my bedroom with a camera in their hand. I screamed like a little girl in what was undoubtedly the most nightmarish moment of my life. It was a man at my window, and as I pushed myself back up against the wall, curled up in my bed screaming, I could distinguish the man's face to be the same face I'd seen on Ben's Snapchat. He struggled to squeeze himself back out the window, but he did manage to escape before my parents could enter the room. We contacted the police that same night and had them track the phone. They found the man in a house 2 miles away and arrested him. Ben got his phone back and I got peace of mind knowing the creep would be behind bars. This is a short but terrifying story of something that happened when I was Snapchatting a friend. I'm pretty young, I'm only 13, still in middle school. I really liked a girl who had just started sending me selfies, and we messaged for a few evenings. One evening when I was watching TV, she sent me a picture of herself lying in bed with no caption. I replied, "What's up?" She sent another picture that was exactly the same, but this time she wrote, "Not much you." I had plenty of time to examine the image, which included her bedroom in the background and the dark shadow of a person standing by the window. She set the timer for 10 seconds, so I promptly replied, "Is that your brother by the window?" She posted the same picture again with the message, "What do you mean?" I closed the snap before the timer even expired so I could inform her more quickly, "There's somebody at your window, turn around." The person at the window was closer in this photo, and I could see a hand pressed against the glass. She opened my snap almost immediately and then I didn't hear from her again on the app. I grew more and more worried as the minutes passed. I texted her a few times to no avail. I tried calling her a few times to no avail as well. I didn't know her house phone number, otherwise I would have called her parents. It wasn't until midnight when I was already laying in bed that she finally texted me back. She explained the whole situation as soon as she looked out her window and saw the person standing there. She screamed, and that caused the person, who turned out to be a 20-some-year-old man, to open the window and jump into the room. From there she ran to her parents' room and woke her dad, who went to her room to find nothing but an open window. It wasn't exactly a personal story of mine, but it freaks me out nonetheless, knowing that the only thing that saved my friend from whatever could have happened was the fact that I was able to see the window through her selfies unbeknownst to the creeper. At Her window. When you think of Snapchat, the last thing you would think of is a horror story besides maybe private pictures being leaked. It was almost a year ago now. I was a senior in high school and was Snapchatting a few different people at my kitchen table at 10:00. My parents had already gone to sleep. I got a notification from Snapchat. It said Snapchat from Hector. I did not know anyone by the name of Hector, so right away it was weird. I should mention I'm a guy, so it's not like random creeps snapping me for pictures or anything like that is a common occurrence. I didn't want to open it up right away because then whoever this was might think I was available for some kind of conversation. A whole half hour went by and I completely forgot about the snap. That is until I got another one from this Hector person. This time I opened it right away. The first snap was taken in a really dark room and somebody's face was just barely in the picture, though it was way too dark to give a clear description of the person. All I could tell was the person was a bit darker skinned. The next picture was taken outside facing a road. It took me a while to catch on because of the darkness and the graininess of the photo, but there was an arm pointing down the road. I typed, "Who is this?" in the chat. The message was read instantly but there was no reply. The guy added me, so I added him back. His Snapchat score was literally 5 and he watched all my Snapchat stories. 5 minutes later, I received another Snapchat from this Hector person. I opened it immediately, and this time, it was a picture of him in the middle of the street, but I knew the street he was on and that he was only 2 blocks from my house. "Who is this?" I typed again. I knew it was one of my friends messing with me on some kind of throwaway account. I texted a few of my friends who I thought might be doing it. They all promised it wasn't them, but they all found it really funny. I got a 4th Snapchat from this Hector person. I found myself getting more and more nervous opening each one. I waited a few seconds and then opened the snap. It was a picture of my block taken by the old lamppost on the corner. My good friend who lives 2 doors down came over because I was freaked out and wanted him there. He's a big dude, so him and I could take on any one person. We sat on my couch with the TV on in the background staring at my phone waiting for another snap from this guy. Sure enough, the notification popped up with Hector's name on it and my friend got excited with laughter. I was too nervous to find humor in it. He told me to take a screenshot. This time when I opened the snap, the picture was of my house. It was taken from the front yard. I took the screenshot and we both jumped off the couch and ran to my front door to look outside. We couldn't see anyone, so we both put our shoes on and checked outside. I told my friend to stay in the front and I checked the backyard. On my way to the backyard I got another snap from Hector. I opened it immediately once again and this time the picture was of the back door to my house. Before opening that gate I yelled for my friend to come around back, which in hindsight I can now see was a mistake because as soon as I opened that gate I saw somebody already running for the gate on the other side of the yard. Me and my friend chased after whoever it was, but it was way too dark to see anything out in the streets. This Hector guy got away. My friend hung out for another hour or two and after he left I went to bed shortly after. Of course I was rolling around in bed for over an hour in the back of my mind waiting for a notification to go off on my phone saying, "Hector sent you a Snapchat." Eventually everything faded to darkness and the next thing I remember was waking up the next morning. The first thing I did was check my phone. There were 3 notifications throughout the night, each saying Hector sent me a Snapchat. When I eventually pressed the button to view the images, I noticed that all 3 of them showed windows in my house. The third one showed my bedroom. I blocked the user and even went so far as to email Snapchat support to report the man, but I received a copy and paste response that said, "Thank you for your email, we take these matters very seriously." They continued to be of little assistance, even when I followed up on the matter a week later. Normally, I would assume that whoever did this was a friend, acquaintance, or just someone I barely knew from my grade, but based on the username and the small amount of skin I saw in the photos, this person was Hispanic, and there weren't any Hispanic students at my school. I'm still baffled by this to this day, wondering how in the world this Hector person knew me. My address and Snapchat username.